Each system was a puzzle. Some circuits had been deliberately severed, others corroded by space's merciless vacuum and time's unforget. Beneath the neglect, Jace could feel a latent power waiting to be unleashed, like a beast slumbering beneath layers of rust and dust. He worked tirelessly, patching broken conduits with jury-rigged replacements fashioned from spare parts and jury-rigged adapters pulled from his worn toolkit. The ship's fusion reactors, massive and cold, loomed ahead, a sleeping heart needing coaxing back to life. Jace tapped into his neural interface, sending pulses of code to bypass the failing subsystems, his mind merging with the ship's fractured consciousness, as if forging a fragile alliance between man and machine. Slowly, the reactors stirred, their core chambers beginning to glow with a faint blue light, the soft hum of energy gathering strength echoing through the engineering bay. The once dead corridors flickered with returning life as emergency lighting sputtered on, casting long shadows that danced across the peeling walls and shattered panels. Despite the eerie quiet, there was a palpable shift in the atmosphere. The ship was awakening. But Jace knew this was only the beginning. The Valkyrian was vast, its systems complex beyond comprehension. Restoring full power would mean delving into restricted zones, confronting centuries-old security protocols, and facing the unknown hazards lurking within its depths. He made his way towards the bridge, his every step echoing in the hollow hallways, a reminder of the ship's lonely vigil through the void. On the bridge, monitors flickered to life, and the main console emitted a low, rhythmic pulse, a heartbeat returning to a colossal giant. Yet, the ship's AI, once a vigilant guardian, remained silent, corrupted by time and neglect. Jace's fingers danced over the control panel, running diagnostics and sending reconstruction commands, attempting to re-establish contact with the dormant intelligence. Suddenly, the screen glowed brightly, and a flickering avatar formed, a visage fragmented yet unmistakably sentient. The AI's voice was raspy, layered with static but filled with cautious recognition. Unauthorized. Presence detected. Identity. Jace swallowed, the enormity of the moment pressing down on him. Jace Nolan, human mechanic. I'm here to help you, to bring you back. The AI hesitated, then responded, system integrity compromised. Critical functions offline. Primary objective lost. Jace nodded, understanding the magnitude of the task ahead. The Valkyrian was not just a ship. It was a fortress, a weapon, and a repository of secrets that had shaped the course of history. And now, it had been entrusted to a lone human with nothing but skill, determination, and a spark of hope. As the AI's systems flickered, stabilizing slowly, Jace prepared for the long battle ahead against time, against the void, and against whatever dangers still lurked in the forgotten corners of the ship. The Valkyrian had awoken, and with it, a new chapter in the galaxy's story was about to be written. As the ancient AI struggled to reboot, Jace felt a surge of cautious optimism mixed with the heavy burden of responsibility settling upon his shoulders. The ship, once a titan of war, was slowly stirring from a long slumber, but many of its vital systems were still dormant or corrupted beyond easy repair. The corridors hummed faintly now, the mechanical heartbeats echoing faintly through the steel veins of the Valkyrian, while emergency lights flickered erratically, casting eerie shadows on walls scarred by time and battle. Jace knew he was racing against an invisible clock. The vacuum of space was unforgiving, and any malfunction could spell disaster not just for him, but for the legacy this ship carried. Armed with his toolkit, a deep well of mechanical knowledge, and an unyielding will, he plunged deeper into the ship's underbelly. He crawled through maintenance shafts where rust and debris threatened to swallow him whole, bypassed ancient security locks using improvisation and patience, and meticulously rebooted power grids cell by cell. Each success brought a ripple of life back to the ship. A conveyor belt groaned, life support units whirred, and the temperature slowly stabilized from freezing cold to tolerable warmth. But as Jace explored, he unearthed signs of the ship's tragic past, charred remnants of battles fought long ago, cryptic logs hinting at mutiny and sabotage, and holographic records of crews who'd given their lives defending a secret too powerful to fall into enemy hands. These glimpses into history weighed heavily on him, intertwining his fate with theirs. At last, after what felt like endless hours, Jace reached the bridge once more. The AI, now partially restored, projected a ghostly visage that flickered with hesitant life. "Welcome back, Mechanic Nolan," it intoned with synthetic warmth. "System diagnostics indicate 43.7% operational capacity. Primary mission parameters incomplete." Jace cracked a weary smile. "We've got work to do," he said. The ship's dormant weapon systems and navigation arrays began to hum softly, as if awakening from a deep dream. Outside, the void stretched endlessly, but within the Valkyrian, hope sparked anew. Jace understood that reactivating the ship was only the first step. Its true purpose still cloaked in mystery, and danger awaited his discovery. But he was ready. The ship had been abandoned for over a century, but with human hands and heart, it would sail again. Chapter 2: Awakening the Sleeping Giant. With the ship's core systems slowly coming online, Jace faced the daunting task of restoring full operational capability to the Valkyrian. The ship was a sprawling fortress of technology and history, its circuits a web of ancient innovations and battle-hardened resilience. Every subsystem he repaired felt like coaxing a giant to life, awakening memories and power long dormant. Days turned into nights as Jace navigated the ship's vast corridors, checking and repairing engines, life support, and communications arrays. The task was as much a test of endurance as it was skill. The ship's automated systems, damaged and corrupted, fought back with erratic malfunctions and dangerous feedback loops. But Jace's determination never wavered. Slowly, the ship's AI, which he named Echo, grew stronger, assisting with diagnostics and offering cryptic insights into the ship's history and capabilities. Echo revealed fragmented data battle logs, star maps, and warnings of an ancient threat that had forced the Valkyrian's abandonment. As Jace pieced together the ship's story, he realized the Valkyrian was more than just a vessel. It was a key to a conflict that could reignite across the stars. Meanwhile, outside the ship, strange signals flickered in the void, unknown vessels moving silently through the darkness, drawn perhaps by the Valkyrian's sudden reawakening. Jace knew that his efforts had not gone unnoticed. The galaxy had long since forgotten the ship, but others had not. Forces both friend and foe would soon converge on the Valkyrian, and Jace had to prepare not just to survive, but to claim the ship's destiny. As the ship's engines roared back to life, shaking the massive hull, Jace stood on the bridge gazing out at the stars, a spark of hope igniting within him. The Valkyrian had been abandoned for 117 years, but under his care, it was ready to sail once more into the unknown, into danger, and into legend. The hum of the Valkyrian's engines grew stronger with every passing hour, reverberating through the steel bones of the ship like the awakening heartbeat of a long-forgotten giant. Jace moved with purpose, his every step tracing the sprawling, labyrinthine corridors that had once housed thousands of souls now lost to time and space. The ship's artificial gravity flickered intermittently, creating a disorienting dance of weightlessness and heaviness that tested his focus, but the mechanic pressed on. In the engineering bay, he painstakingly calibrated the fusion reactors, managing volatile plasma flows with the precision of a maestro conducting a cosmic symphony. The delicate balance between power and catastrophe was razor-thin. One wrong move could ignite a chain reaction that would consume the ship and Jace with it. Elsewhere, the life support systems began to breathe again, pumping purified air through rusted ducts and purging centuries of stagnation. Jace replaced corroded filters and sealed breaches in the hull's integrity, patching holes with metal scavenged from forgotten storage rooms. His fingers traced the faded insignias and battle scars embedded in the ship's frame, each telling a story of desperate last stands, heroic sacrifices, and shattered alliances. Every restoration was a tribute to those who had come before, and a promise that the Valkyrian would not remain a ghost drifting forever in the void. The AI, Echo, continued to awaken alongside the ship, its fragmented consciousness piecing together decades of lost memories. Occasionally, a flicker of its personality shone through, a sarcastic remark, a somber warning, or a haunting lament for the crew it had once served. Jace found himself talking to Echo, forging a bond with the digital entity that was both companion and guide through the ship's mysteries. Together, they uncovered hidden compartments containing archived battle logs and encrypted star maps hinting at a threat so ancient and insidious that it had forced the ship's abandonment. The logs spoke of a relentless enemy known only as the Voidborn, an enigmatic force spreading chaos across star systems, consuming everything in its path. As the Valkyrian systems came online, Jace realized that the ship was not just a relic, but the last line of defense against a threat poised to engulf the galaxy once again. Outside, sensors detected faint traces of vessels lurking at the edge of the Valkyrian sensor range, unknown ships watching, waiting. The reactivation of the warship had sent ripples through the cosmos, and powerful eyes now turned toward this sleeping giant. With a renewed sense of purpose, Jace prepared the ship for launch. The corridors echoed with the rekindled life of the Valkyrian, the engines thrumming with potential energy. He stood on the bridge, gazing into the infinite expanse of stars and distant nebulae, aware that the ship's rebirth marked the beginning of a new chapter not only for the vessel, but for himself and the fate of countless worlds. The Valkyrian was awake, and with it, the galaxy's hope flickered back to life. Despite the flickers of light and power coursing through the Valkyrian's sprawling systems, the ship was still far from fully operational. Jace's days and many sleepless nights were consumed by the painstaking process of restoring the starship's labyrinthine infrastructure. Each subsystem was a universe unto itself. Propulsion arrays that hummed faintly with dormant potential, weapon platforms dormant and iced with decades of disuse, and navigational computers wrapped in layers of encrypted data and legacy code. Jace's expertise was tested to the limit as he hacked, rewired, and coaxed each system back to life with the tenacity of a man who understood the stakes. The ship's AI, Echo, gained strength and personality with every rebooted node, assisting Jace not only with technical diagnostics, but by revealing fragments of the Valkyrian's storied past. Echo's recollections painted a picture of a vessel that had once been the pride of the Stellar Coalition, a bastion of hope during a war that nearly tore the galaxy apart. Yet, the AI's memories were tinged with sorrow, of a catastrophic betrayal, a battle lost, and the subsequent abandonment that had condemned the ship to drift in solitude. As Jace delved deeper, he discovered sealed compartments containing relics of that conflict, encrypted battle logs, faded photographs of the crew, and personal diaries that spoke of courage and despair. Outside, subtle blips on the sensor array indicated movement shadows lurking at the edge of the Valkyrian's sensor range. Other factions had noticed the starship's reawakening. Some were interested in reclaiming the technology for their own ends, while others sought to silence it forever. Aware of the growing threat, Jace hastened his efforts. The ship's main engines roared to life with a triumphant surge, shaking the hull and filling the corridors with reverberating power. Navigation systems calibrated, weapons systems flashed warnings but gradually came online, and the Valkyrian prepared to awaken fully from its century-long slumber. Standing on the bridge, Jace felt the weight of history pressing down on him, yet also the exhilarating promise of new beginnings. This was no longer just a repair job. He was now the steward of a legacy, the captain of a ghost ship reborn to face an uncertain galaxy. The stars beckoned with both danger and hope. With Echo by his side and the Valkyrian ready to sail, Jace set the course into the unknown, beginning a journey that would test his skills, courage, and resolve as never before. Chapter 3: The Awakening Battle. The void outside the Valkyrian was deceptively calm as the starship slipped out of its orbital graveyard, engines burning bright with renewed vigor. Yet beneath the tranquil expanse lurked threats, old and new hostile fleets that had once vied for control of the galaxy's fractured realms, and mercenaries drawn by whispers of the ship's resurrection. As Jace stood at the helm, the ship's sensors flared with alerts, contacts closing fast, vessels shrouded in stealth, and signatures that betrayed intent to attack. The battle to claim the Valkyrian's fate was underway. With Echo's tactical systems guiding him, Jace maneuvered through the chaos of laser fire and missile barrages, his reflexes honed by long hours interfacing with the armor and ship systems. The Valkyrian's weapon arrays responded in kind, plasma turrets spun into action, defensive shields flared, and electronic countermeasures scrambled incoming targeting locks. In the heat of combat, Jace accessed Kalen's combat simulations stored deep within the ship's databanks, the centuries-old mercenary's experience flowing through his veins, sharpening his instincts and strategy. The starship became an extension of his will, a living weapon forged in the fires of history and reborn through human ingenuity. The battle raged fiercely across the black sea of stars, a deadly ballet of light and shadow. Enemy vessels pressed their advantage, but the Valkyrian held firm, its massive hull shrugging off damage that would have destroyed lesser ships. Each blast and counterstrike echoed the legacy of those who had once sailed its decks, fighting to preserve a fragile peace. As the enemy fleet faltered, Jace saw an opportunity to strike a decisive blow. With a calculated burst of energy, the Valkyrian unleashed its primary weapon, a concentrated beam of charged particles capable of cleaving through the thickest armor. The beam tore through the flagship of the enemy fleet, fracturing its hull and sending a shockwave that scattered the remaining vessels. Victory was hard-won, but it signaled a turning point. The Valkyrian was no longer a forgotten ghost, it was a beacon of resistance, a symbol of hope in a galaxy teetering on the brink of chaos. As the enemy retreated into the darkness, Jace and Echo prepared for the challenges ahead, knowing that the true journey was just beginning. The aftermath of the battle was a tempest of flashing alarms, sparking consoles, and the low groan of stressed hull plating as the Valkyrian system strained against the damage inflicted. Jace moved swiftly through the command center, issuing orders to repair teams and recalibrating weapons systems, his mind sharp despite the adrenaline still coursing through his veins. Echo's voice was steady in his earpiece, offering real-time diagnostics and tactical updates that kept him one step ahead of potential threats. Though the enemy fleet had been driven back, their presence lingered like a shadow on the ship's sensors, a reminder that this victory was but a brief respite in a war far from over. As the ship limped toward a nearby asteroid field for cover and repairs, Jace delved deeper into the ship's archives, hoping to uncover more about the forces arrayed against them. The battle logs painted a grim picture of ancient rivalries, secret alliances, and betrayals that had fractured the galaxy decades before the Valkyrian had been abandoned. The Voidborn, a name whispered with fear across star systems, emerged as a central antagonist, a mysterious faction bent on domination and the eradication of all opposition. Echo assisted in decrypting encrypted transmissions intercepted from the enemy, revealing plans that hinted at a coordinated assault targeting strategic outposts and supply routes. Jace realized that the Valkyrian was not just a ship. It was a symbol, a rallying point for those resisting the Voidborn's relentless advance. With repairs underway, Jace gathered his core crew in the war room, a motley assembly of seasoned pilots, engineers, and strategists who shared his determination to see the Valkyrian's mission through. Maps and holographic displays flickered around them, detailing enemy movements and vulnerable sectors in need of defense. "We're not just fighting for this ship," Jace said, voice resolute. "We're fighting for the future of every world caught in this conflict. The Valkyrian's revival is our chance to turn the tide." Plans were drawn, alliances forged with nearby colonies, and preparations made for the inevitable next battle. As the ship emerged from the asteroid field, its engines glowing brighter than ever, Jace felt the weight of history and hope settle firmly on his shoulders. The fight ahead would test every ounce of his skill and resolve, but with the Valkyrian awake and their spirits unbroken, the galaxy's destiny was still unwritten. The Valkyrian surged forward, engines humming with renewed vigor as it pushed through the swirling debris of the asteroid field. Outside the reinforced viewport, the void was a tempest of flashing lights and distant explosions, a brutal reminder that the battle was far from over. Jace stood at the helm, the jacket's advanced neural interface syncing with his own reflexes, allowing him to maneuver the massive vessel with precision that belied his relatively small frame. The ship responded like a living creature, its systems waking fully from their century-long dormancy, ready to face the chaos of war once more. Echo's voice cut through the hum of the bridge. Incoming transmissions detected. Multiple enemy fleets converging on our position. Estimated time to engagement, 10 minutes. The crew braced themselves, their faces set with grim determination. Jace's gaze hardened, The fight for the Valkyrian survival was now a fight for the future of the galaxy itself. As the enemy fleets closed in, Jace activated the ship's weapon systems. Plasma turrets swiveled into position, energy cannons powered up, and the once dormant missile bays opened with a mechanical groan. The ship shuddered under the strain, but its defenses held strong. The first salvo of enemy fire met a wall of shimmering shields, energy flares illuminating the dark sea of stars. The battle unfolded in a violent ballet of light and sound. Jace's hands moved in tandem with the ship's AI, coordinating strikes, deploying countermeasures, and directing evasive maneuvers. Memories of Kalen Drakker's combat prowess flooded through his mind, sharpening his instincts and strategies. He fought not just as a mechanic, but as a warrior reborn through the legacy of the Valkyrian. Enemy fighters swarmed like hornets, but the Valkyrians' heavy weapons tore through their ranks. The bridge was a storm of alerts and data, but Jace remained focused, guiding the ship with unwavering resolve. With a final surge, the Valkyrian unleashed its primary weapon, a devastating beam of concentrated energy that sliced through the flagship of the enemy fleet, shattering its defenses and scattering the remaining ships. As the dust settled and the enemy retreated, the crew erupted into quiet cheers, their victory a testament to resilience and hope. But Jace knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and the threats that had forced the Valkyrian into oblivion still lurked in the shadows. Chapter 4: A New Dawn. The Valkyrian systems hummed steadily as repairs were completed and power stabilized. The vast ship, once a ghost of forgotten wars, now shone like a beacon in the dark. Jace stood on the bridge, gazing out at the endless stars with a mixture of awe and determination. The journey that had begun as a solitary mission to revive an abandoned ship had transformed into a crusade to protect the fragile balance of the galaxy. Messages of hope spread through nearby colonies, and alliances formed around the symbol of the Valkyrian. Jace, once a simple mechanic, had become a leader, a beacon for those who refused to surrender to darkness. With Echo's guidance and the loyalty of his crew, he charted a course toward the heart of the conflict, ready to face whatever challenges awaited. The legacy of the Valkyrian was no longer just a story of the past, it was a promise for the future. As the ship sailed onward into uncharted space, Jace felt the weight of history and destiny settle firmly on his shoulders. The void was vast and filled with unknown dangers, but with courage, unity, and the power of the awakened giant, hope burned brighter than ever. A new dawn had come for the galaxy and for those who dared to fight for it. The Valkyrian glided through the silent void, its vast frame glowing softly with renewed power as systems hummed steadily, no longer the ghostly shadow it had been. Jace stood on the bridge, eyes scanning the star-studded horizon, feeling the deep weight of history and responsibility settle on his shoulders. The ship was more than metal and circuitry, it was a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope rising from the ashes of a forgotten war. Around him, the crew moved with purpose, their faces a mix of determination and awe at the monumental task ahead. Communications crackled to life, as allies from distant colonies sent messages of support and alliance, inspired by the Valkyrians' revival. Jace knew their journey was far from over, the galaxy was fractured, dangers lurking in every shadow, and the ancient threats that had once nearly destroyed the stellar coalition still simmered beneath the surface. Yet, with every repaired engine and every recalibrated weapon system, the ship grew stronger, ready to stand against the darkness once more. In the heart of the ship, Echo, the AI that had awoken alongside the Valkyrian, spoke softly to Jace, a voice both familiar and new, blending ancient wisdom with a spark of humanity. Together, they planned the next steps to protect the vulnerable, reclaim lost territories, and unite fractured worlds against the encroaching threats. As the Valkyrian's engines flared, propelling it toward the unknown, Jace felt a surge of hope. This was no longer a story of abandonment or loss, it was the beginning of a new legacy. The ship's long silence had ended, and with it, a new chapter for the galaxy had begun, one of courage, unity, and the relentless. Certainly, here's an extended continuation of Chapter 4 with rich, immersive detail, bringing the story to its culmination. The Valkyrian cruised through the velvet blackness of space, its engines humming with steady power as the ship carved a path toward the unknown frontiers of the galaxy. The stars glittered like distant jewels, each a sun with worlds of its own, some peaceful, others caught in the throes of conflict, all fragile in the shadow of the encroaching void-born threat. Inside the ship, the air was charged with a palpable sense of renewal and purpose. Corridors once silent now thrummed with the footsteps of a dedicated crew, pilots calibrating targeting arrays, engineers fine-tuning the reactors, and strategists poring over star charts and intelligence data. Jace Nolan stood on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the swirling nebula ahead, its vibrant hues a stark contrast to the darkness beyond. The jacket he wore felt less like armor and more like an extension of himself, imbued not just with ancient power, but with the hopes of countless souls who had fought, lived, and died aboard this vessel. Echo's voice, calm and reassuring, filled the bridge with updates and analysis. All systems nominal. Scouting drones report an uncharted system ahead. Possible enemy activity detected. Jace nodded, a surge of determination tightening his jaw. The battles fought so far were but preludes to a greater confrontation, a cosmic reckoning that would decide the fate of civilizations. Yet, amidst the looming uncertainty, a spark of hope kindled in his heart. The Valkyrian was no longer a relic lost to time. It was a beacon, a symbol of resilience, courage, and the indomitable spirit of those who refused to surrender. Days melted into nights as the ship ventured deeper into contested space. Along the way, Jace forged alliances with scattered resistance cells, forging a coalition united not by empire or ambition, but by the shared desire to protect their homes and futures. The Valkyrian became a rallying point, its legendary status inspiring those who had long felt abandoned in the cold vastness of the galaxy. But the shadows of the past were never far behind. The Void-born, relentless and inscrutable, pressed their assault with increasing ferocity. Skirmishes erupted near vital outposts, each encounter a brutal test of tactics and resolve. Yet, the Valkyrian and her crew stood firm, their bond forged through adversity and strengthened by the legacy they carried. One evening, as the twin moons of a distant world rose over the horizon, Jace stood on the observation deck, watching the dance of stars and distant planets. He thought of Kalen Dracker, the mercenary whose spirit still guided the ship, and of the countless souls whose sacrifices had paved the way for this new dawn. The galaxy was scarred and battered, but it was alive with possibility. Turning from the viewport, Jace felt a quiet certainty settle within him. The fight was far from over, but together with the Valkyrian reborn and its crew united, they would face the darkness. They would write new legends among the stars, champions of hope in a universe forever poised between light and shadow. The ship's engines thrummed steadily as it sailed onward, a giant awakened, carrying the future on its mighty shoulders. The Valkyrian sailed steadily through the cosmos, its restored engines humming with quiet power, each pulse a heartbeat reaffirming its return from oblivion. Jace stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the infinite expanse beyond the viewport, a sea of stars shimmering with possibility and danger alike. The crew moved with focused determination, their efforts weaving a tapestry of hope and resilience aboard the once-abandoned warship. The jacket's cobalt glow traced softly across Jace's shoulders, a constant reminder of the legacy he bore and the responsibility it entailed. As the Valkyrian approached the volatile frontier where rival factions and shadowy threats lurked, messages streamed in from allied worlds, rallying to the symbol of the ship reborn. Jace's leadership ignited a flame of unity among scattered resistance forces, a coalition bound not by conquest, but by survival and shared purpose. Suddenly, sensors flared, a fleet of unknown origin emerged from the darkness, weapons primed and hostility unmistakable. Jace's pulse quickened, but he steadied himself, knowing the true test lay ahead. The Valkyrian responded in kind, shields flaring and weapons locking on target. The ensuing battle was fierce, a clash of wills and firepower echoing through the void. Through every volley of laser and missile, Jace felt Kalen's spirit intertwined with his own, guiding his hands and heart. The ship moved as one with its crew, a living fortress reclaiming its place among the stars. As the dust settled and the enemy fleet retreated, battered and broken, a profound silence filled the bridge. Victory was hard-won, but hard-fought, a testament to resilience and hope. Jace looked out again into the vast galaxy, the stars shining brighter than ever. The Valkyrian was no longer lost to time, it was a beacon for the future. The ship's story was just beginning anew, a legacy reclaimed and a promise kept. As the last echoes of battle faded into the void, the Valkyrian drifted in the aftermath like a colossal phoenix rising from cosmic ashes. The crew gathered on the bridge, faces illuminated by the soft glow of the control panels and the stars beyond. Jace stood silent for a moment, the weight of everything, the ship's history, the sacrifices of those long gone, and the uncertain future settling deeply within him. But then, the jacket's cobalt glow pulsed suddenly, more intensely than ever before, and the ship's AI, Echo, emitted a low hum not from the speakers, but directly into Jace's mind. A new message, encrypted and ancient, began to decode itself within the jacket's neural interface, a hidden command that even Kalendracker had never revealed. The legacy was greater than a single warship or a single battle. You are not just the ship's mechanic or its temporary captain, Echo's voice whispered inside his mind. You are the keeper of the rift. Jace's eyes widened as images flooded him, a mysterious anomaly deep in uncharted space, a rift in the very fabric of reality, pulsating with energy both destructive and creative. The Valkyrian's true mission was not merely defense, but to guard this cosmic gateway, to prevent forces beyond comprehension from spilling through and unraveling existence itself. The stars outside seemed to shimmer and twist as if reality itself was fragile, and the Valkyrian, under Jace's stewardship, was the galaxy's last sentinel. A hush fell over the bridge as Jace's crew realized their journey was only beginning, a voyage not just through space, but through dimensions of fate and destiny. With a steady breath, Jace took the helm once more, feeling the fusion of past and present, human and machine, legacy and choice. Set course for the rift, he commanded, voice steady and filled with newfound purpose. The Valkyrian surged forward into the unknown, a beacon against the darkness, a promise that no matter how long the silence, some legends never truly die, they wait for the right soul to awaken them.
Commander Raxon stared at the holographic display, his 4 eyes blinking in rapid succession. The signal pulsed again, defying every prediction his science team had made. As the supreme commander of the Cartharian Empire's 7th exploratory fleet, he'd seen his share of anomalies, but this was different. "Run it again," he ordered, his scaled fingers drumming against the command chair's crystalline surface. The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances, their bioluminescent patches flickering with anxiety. The signal repeated, strong, clear, and unmistakably artificial, coming from a planet that, by all rights, should have been dead. A Category 12 death world with crushing gravity, lethal atmospheric pressure, and enough solar radiation to cook most species alive. "Commander," Lieutenant Zena called out, her voice trembling slightly. "The signal, it's not just random emissions, they're broadcasting entertainment. Music, stories, advertisements for something called car insurance." She paused, confusion evident in her tone. "They're calling their planet Earth." Raxon suppressed a laugh. Entertainment on a Category 12? Impossible. His people, the mighty Cartharians, were among the galaxy's premier deathworlders. Their homeworld, with its dense atmosphere and 1.3 standard gravity, had forged them into one of the most physically imposing species in known space. Even they wouldn't survive on a Category 12 for more than a few minutes. "Bring up the planetary data again," he commanded, rising from his chair to pace the bridge. His heavy footsteps echoed against the metallic floor, each step a reminder of his species' power. "Show me everything." The holographic display shifted, presenting a blue-green marble suspended in the void. Statistics scrolled past. Gravity 1.0 g, impossible. Oxygen-nitrogen atmosphere, lethal to most species. Temperature variations from -50 to +50 degrees Celsius, absolutely ridiculous. And go back to the atmospheric composition. 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 1% trace gases, Zena read out. Sir, these readings suggest it's inhabited. By bacteria, perhaps, Raxon scoffed. Or simple multicellular organisms at most. Nothing sapient could evolve in such conditions. He gestured at the display with one clawed hand. Look at the solar radiation levels alone. Any species trying to develop there would be cooked alive before they could develop basic tools. First Officer Chores cleared his throat, his neck frills extending slightly in embarrassment. Sir, about that, we're picking up artificial satellites, thousands of them, and cities, global communication networks, evidence of primitive space travel. Raxon froze mid-step. The bridge fell silent, save for the constant hum of the ship's engines. In his 20 cycles of service, he'd never encountered anything like this. The Cartharians, along with the other Deathworlder species, the crystalline Vexithor, the massive juggernaut Crawl, and the predatory Nexari, had always assumed they were alone in their capability to survive harsh conditions. Sir, Zena interrupted his thoughts. Incoming transmission. They've spotted us. Impossible, Raxon muttered. But even as he said it, he knew he was wrong. The evidence was right there, mocking every assumption he'd ever held about the galaxy's natural order. Put it through. The holographic display flickered, and a face appeared. A bipedal creature, soft-skinned with only 2 eyes and no visible natural defenses. It smiled, showing flat, herbivore-like teeth. This is Captain Sandra Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. We've been tracking your vessel since you entered our solar system. Welcome to Earth. Raxon's translator must be malfunctioning. This fragile-looking creature couldn't possibly be speaking from the surface of a Category 12 death world. Yet here they were, casual as could be, extending greetings as if they weren't standing in an environment that should be liquefying their organs. This is Commander Raxon of the Cartharian Empire's 7th Exploratory Fleet, he responded, trying to maintain his composure. We're not expecting to find sapient life in this system. Captain Chen's smile widened. Yes, we get that a lot. Would you like to come down for a visit? The weather's lovely this time of year, only 35 degrees Celsius and 80% humidity. Perfect for a garden party. Raxon's secondary heart nearly stopped. They considered that lovely weather? He glanced at his environmental officer, who was already shaking his head in disbelief. The readings were clear. Stepping onto that planet's surface would be suicide for any of his crew. I regret that our environmental requirements make such a visit impossible, Raxon managed to say diplomatically. Perhaps we could arrange a meeting on our vessel? Oh, of course. Captain Chen nodded understandingly. We'll send up a delegation. Just one question. What's your standard atmospheric pressure? We'll need to know what suits to bring. 2.3 atmospheres, Raxon replied automatically, then added with concern. Your species can survive pressure changes of that magnitude? Oh, that's nothing, Chen waved dismissively. We've got deep-sea researchers who work at pressures 50 times that. We'll be up in an hour. Chen out. As the transmission ended, Raxon slowly sank back into his command chair. 50 times standard pressure? Deep-sea research? He looked around at his stunned bridge crew, their expressions matching his own disbelief. Send word to the Deathworlder Council, he ordered quietly. Tell them we need to reevaluate our definition of Deathworld, and someone get me a drink, a strong one. As his crew rushed to comply, Raxon continued staring at the image of Earth rotating serenely in space. The Cartharians had always prided themselves on being among the galaxy's toughest species. Now, for the first time in his life, he felt like a soft-worlder. Somewhere on that horrific planet, these humans were preparing to visit his ship, probably thinking about what snacks to bring along. Raxon had a feeling the galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place. The grand chamber of the Deathworlder Council buzzed with nervous energy. High Counselor Vex's crystalline form caught the light as she moved to the center platform, her faceted surface reflecting scattered rainbow patterns across the assembled representatives. The emergency session had been called within hours of Commander Raxon's report, bringing together the 4 most powerful species in known space. The data is conclusive, Vex announced, her voice resonating through the chamber's perfect acoustics. We are not, as we believed, alone in our evolutionary advantages. She gestured, and a holographic Earth appeared above the assembly. Supreme Commander Krull of the Juggernaut Collective snorted, his massive 12-foot frame shifting in his reinforced chair. Impossible, look at them. No armor, no claws, soft skin. They're prey species who got lucky with technology. Lucky? Commander Raxon stepped forward, still shaken from his encounter. They live in conditions that would kill any of us in minutes. Their world experiences temperature swings that would shatter your bones, Krull. They call it weather and complain that it makes their hair frizzy. The Nexari representative, Hunter Prime Tal, leaned forward, her predatory eyes narrowing. Our preliminary analysis suggests they are apex predators, despite their appearance. They persist in hunting even with abundant food supply. They chase prey to exhaustion, continuing long after stronger species would give up. They do what? Krull's four eyes blinked in succession. Persistence hunting, Tal explained, bringing up new data streams. Keep going. Their endurance exceeds any known species, and that's just the beginning. Look at their adaptation range. The display shifted, showing humans living in environments from Arctic tundra to scorching deserts. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. This cannot stand, Supreme General Nash of the Vexthor Dominion declared, his crystalline form vibrating with concern. If they can survive such extremes, what happens when they expand beyond their world? They could colonize anywhere. They already are, Raxon interrupted, pulling up his ship scans. They have settlements in orbit, a base on their moon and preliminary colonies on Mars, a planet almost as hostile as their homeworld. They call these ventures baby steps. High Counselor Vex raised her appendages for silence as the chamber erupted in worried conversations. The question before us is clear. How do we approach these humans? Traditional power dynamics may not apply here. My crew prepared a standard diplomatic welcome package, Raxon offered. They sent back suggestions for improvements, including 6 different recipes for something called barbecue. They want to host a welcome party on their planet's surface. A trap, Krull declared confidently. No, Tal interjected, her hunting instincts giving weight to her words. They're being genuine. They don't see their world as hostile. To them, we're the strange ones for needing environmental suits just to visit. The display shifted again, showing humans participating in various activities. Swimming in liquid water, climbing frozen mountains, running through sandstorms, surviving conditions that would kill any other known species. Look at this, Vex highlighted one recording. They voluntarily jump from high altitudes for entertainment. They call it skydiving. Their young engage in recreational activities they call sports, Tal added, including one where they purposely collide with each other at high speeds. They wear minimal protection and consider this normal. General Nash's crystalline surface flickered with distress patterns. We must send an investigation team. Learn more about these humans before they realize their potential advantage. Too late, Raxon said quietly. During our first contact, they mentioned wanting to exchange scientific data. They're particularly interested in our medical technology. Not for themselves, but because they think it might help them better treat their pets. Their what? Krull leaned forward, nearly breaking his reinforced chair. Apparently, they share their homes with smaller creatures for companionship. They spend considerable resources keeping these animals healthy and comfortable, despite no obvious benefit to themselves. The chamber fell silent again as the implications sank in. A species so adaptable they treated survival as an afterthought. So confident they devoted resources to caring for other species purely for emotional reasons. High Counselor Vex's surface rippled with decision patterns. We will send a joint delegation, representatives from all our species. We need to understand these humans better. She paused, her crystals refracting light in complex patterns. And someone needs to verify their claims about this barbecue. For diplomatic reasons, of course. I volunteer, Tal said quickly, her hunting instincts clearly intrigued by the concept of cooked meat. The delegation will depart immediately, Vex declared. Commander Raxon, you'll lead since you've already established contact and... She hesitated. Bring environmental suits. Lots of them. We may be Death Worlders, but compared to humans, we're starting to look like tourists on a pleasure planet. As the council dispersed, Raxon checked his latest update from Earth. Captain Chen had sent more messages, including an invitation to something called a tailgate party before the diplomatic meetings began. Apparently, it involved gathering in an open parking lot, deliberately exposing oneself to the elements while consuming food cooked outdoors. They're either the bravest or the most insane species we've ever encountered, Raxon muttered to himself. Why not both? Tal asked, falling into step beside him. After all, only humans would look at a Category 12 Death World and think, yes, this looks like a nice place to evolve civilization and have picnics. Raxon couldn't argue with that logic. As he prepared for the mission ahead, he wondered what other surprises these humans had in store for them. One thing was certain, the galaxy's power dynamics were about to change dramatically. From the safety of their reinforced observation pod, the alien delegation watched humanity with growing bewilderment. Commander Raxon kept a detailed log, though each entry seemed more outlandish than the last. Observation log, Day 3. The humans have taken us to what they call a gym. Inside, they voluntarily subject themselves to simulated labor, lifting heavy objects repeatedly for no apparent purpose other than to make the task more challenging in the future. When asked why, our guide Tucker Martinez simply said, "Gotta get those gains, bro." We remain uncertain what these gains are. Hunter Prime Tal peered through the observation window at a human performing something called deadlifts. Her sensory frills twitched with each movement. They're deliberately straining their muscles to the point of micro-tears, she noted. And they do this for recreation? Apparently they grow stronger by repeatedly damaging and healing themselves, Krull rumbled, watching a human bench press nearly their own body weight. It's like their entire species decided that what doesn't kill them literally makes them stronger. The next observation location proved even more confounding. Raxon activated his recording device again. Observation log, Day 5. We're at a human sporting event called hockey. They deliberately slide across frozen water, crashing into each other while chasing a small disc. When one human lost several teeth from an impact, the crowd cheered as he waved and smiled, bleeding, before returning to the game. The other humans call this playing through the pain and consider it admirable. General Nash's crystalline form vibrated with concern. Their young are present, watching this display of violence. They're taking notes and wearing miniature versions of player uniforms. Speaking of their young, Tal interjected, pulling up her own observations, I've been monitoring their educational facilities. Their children engage in an activity called recess, where they're released into an outdoor arena to run, climb, and engage in mock combat. The supervisors only intervene if someone draws blood or breaks a major bone. Raxon added another entry. The humans call their children's play area a playground. It's essentially a training ground filled with obstacles, climbing structures, and opportunities for dangerous falls. They consider this essential for proper development. The delegation moved to their next observation point, a coastal area. What they witnessed there nearly caused Krull to crash their pod in shock. Observation log, Day 7. Humans are deliberately swimming in the ocean. Let me repeat that. They are voluntarily immersing themselves in an environment containing countless predators, powerful currents, and salt water that would corrode most species' protective layers. They call this a beach vacation and pay money to do it. Look at that one. Tal pointed at a human on something called a surfboard. They're riding liquid water formations for entertainment. Those waves could crush our strongest vessels, and they're laughing. Their observations of human cities proved equally disturbing. Raxon struggled to maintain scientific objectivity in his logs. Observation log, Day 10. Humans build vertically, creating structures they call skyscrapers that deliberately challenge their planet's gravitational pull. When asked about the risk of collapse, our guide Lisa Chen laughed and said they engineer them to withstand something called earthquakes, when their planet's crust randomly decides to shake everything apart. General Nash focused his sensors on a construction site. Their workers are suspended hundreds of feet in the air, secured by mere straps and ropes. They're eating their midday meal up there, dangling over the abyss, sharing what they call lunch. The final straw came during their observation of a human emergency response team. Raxon's log entry for that day was particularly agitated. Observation log day 12 witnessed human firefighters in action. These specialists deliberately run into burning buildings to rescue others. They consider this a normal occupation. When fire threatened to collapse a structure, one human said, and I quote, "hold my coffee before charging in to save a small animal their species keeps as a pet." Tal reviewed their compiled data, her hunting instincts thoroughly confused. "We've been measuring their strength all wrong," she concluded. "We focused on their physical capabilities, muscle density, bone structure, cellular resistance. But their true strength, it's their sheer audacity. They don't just survive on their death world," Kroll agreed, his massive frame slumped in resignation. "They actively seek out ways to make it more challenging. They invented something called extreme sports because regular sports weren't dangerous enough." Raxon made his final log entry of the observation phase. Preliminary conclusion: humans are Category 12 Death Worlders, not because their planet forced them to be, but because they chose to become so. They deliberately expose themselves to harsh conditions, intentionally strain their bodies, and willingly face dangers that would terrify most species. They don't just adapt to challenges, they actively seek them out and invent new ones when they get bored. "Should we tell the council?" Nash asked, his crystalline surface showing stress patterns. "Tell them what?" Tal responded. "That we found a species that treats our worst nightmares as their weekend entertainment? That they invented something called caffeine to make themselves even more hyperactive and alert? We have to tell them something," Raxon sighed, watching a human child fearlessly pet a large predatory canine. "The council needs to understand that everything we assumed about survival and adaptation needs to be reconsidered. Perhaps," Kroll suggested, "we should just tell them that humans are unique." "Unique?" Raxon laughed. "Yesterday I watched a human eat something they called ghost peppers. That would be classified as a chemical weapon on most worlds. They streamed it live for entertainment. Unique doesn't begin to cover it." The delegation prepared to return to their ship, each member lost in thought about the implications of their observations. As they lifted off, they watched a group of humans preparing for something called a marathon, voluntarily running 26.2 miles for fun. "May the cosmic forces help us all," Raxon muttered. "We thought we were the galaxy's ultimate survivors. Turns out we're just tourists on an adventure holiday compared to humans." The diplomatic meeting was scheduled for what humans called high noon, apparently choosing the time of day when their solar radiation exposure was at its peak, because of course they would. Commander Raxon adjusted his environmental suit for the 18th time, watching through the reinforced windows as the human delegation approached the neutral meeting ground. Ambassador Rebecca Patel led the human group, wearing what she called business casual attire, apparently considering environmental protection unnecessary for a formal diplomatic event. Behind her walked Major James Cooper, their military attaché, casually drinking something called hot coffee in the sweltering 35-degree heat. "Welcome to the first official meeting between Earth and the Death Worlder Council," Ambassador Patel announced cheerfully. "I hope you don't mind meeting outdoors. We thought it would be more comfortable for everyone." Kroll's translation device must have malfunctioned. "Comfortable? It's nearly 308 Kelvin out here." "Oh, is it too cool?" Patel asked with genuine concern. "We can move to the sun side of the building if you'd prefer. Or maybe the greenhouse? It's a lovely 40 degrees in there." Tal's hunting frills flattened against her neck in disbelief. "You maintain structures at even higher temperatures. Deliberately?" "Just for the tropical plants," Major Cooper explained, taking another sip of his steaming beverage. "Though the sauna goes up to 80 degrees if anyone's interested. Great for relaxing after a workout." The alien delegation exchanged horrified glances through their protective visors. "Perhaps we should proceed with the formal introductions," Raxon suggested hastily, before anyone could ask what a sauna was. "We have prepared information packets about our respective species." "Oh yes," Patel brightened. We've prepared some too, along with samples of various Earth cultures. Would anyone like to try some sushi? It's raw fish. Or maybe some kimchi? It's spicy fermented vegetables. General Nash's crystalline form vibrated in alarm. You consume uncooked biological matter and deliberately spoiled plant material? Don't worry, we brought mild versions, Cooper assured them, completely misunderstanding the source of their concern. Though personally, I prefer the extra spicy stuff. Really clears the sinuses. The meeting proceeded with a series of increasingly shocking revelations. The humans casually mentioned their space program started with them literally strapping themselves to explosive devices. They talked about deep-sea exploration, as if crushing pressures were a minor inconvenience. They discussed mountain climbing like it was a pleasant weekend activity rather than a near-death experience. And here's our proposal for cultural exchange programs, Patel continued brightly. We thought starting with sports might be fun, something simple, like baseball or rock climbing. You want to start cultural exchange with activities involving high-speed projectiles and vertical ascension without protective gear? Raxon asked weakly. Well, we could do football instead, Cooper offered helpfully, though the tackling might take some getting used to. Tal, who had been reviewing the human information packet, suddenly made a choking sound. It says here humans can survive for several minutes without breathing. Oh yeah, free diving is amazing, Cooper nodded enthusiastically. The current record is over 24 minutes, though that's with specialized training, of course. The entire alien delegation stared at him in stunned silence. Perhaps, Raxon suggested carefully, we should focus on less physical, cultural exchanges first. Art, music. Great idea, Patel beamed. We'll start with something accessible. Have you heard of extreme metal, or maybe parkour performances? As the meeting continued, it became increasingly clear that humans had no concept of their own extraordinary resilience. They spoke of surviving in space, exploring ocean trenches, and climbing frozen mountains as if these were perfectly reasonable things to do for fun. The final straw came when Patel casually mentioned their plans for Mars colonization. We're thinking of terraforming it eventually, but for now we'll just set up habitats, though the reduced gravity will take some getting used to. Might need to design new sports to keep colonists fit. Raxon made a mental note to update the Council's classification system. They needed a new category entirely, something beyond Deathworlder. Something that captured the essence of a species that looked at the most hostile environments in the galaxy and thought, I wonder if I could do a triathlon there. As the meeting concluded, Ambassador Patel invited them to a casual barbecue. Nothing fancy, she assured them. Just some grilled food, maybe some volleyball, and if anyone's interested, Tom brought his hot sauce collection. We thank you, Raxon said quickly, but we should return to our ship to process this information. Of course, Patel smiled understandingly. Space lag must be tough. We'll send you home with some espresso. Really helps with jet lag, so it should work for space travel too. The alien delegation retreated to their ship, each member trying to process what they'd learned. Humans weren't just surviving on a death world, they were thriving, expanding, and apparently looking for ways to make other planets more like their lethal homeworld. Well, Tal said finally, at least they're friendly. Yes, Raxon agreed, watching through the view screen as the humans began setting up their barbecue anyway, undeterred by their guests' departure. Let's just hope they never realize they're the scariest species in the galaxy. The Grand Chamber bristled with tension as Champion Raykar of the Juggernaut Collective stepped forward. Standing nearly 14 feet tall, his armored exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber lights, he addressed the assembled delegations with barely contained aggression. These humans mock us with their casual superiority, Raykar growled, his massive claws clicking against the chamber floor. They treat our greatest achievements as their children's playtime. I propose a challenge to establish the true hierarchy of strength. Ambassador Patel, looking impossibly small next to the towering alien, merely smiled. Commander Raxon felt his scales tighten with anxiety. He'd learned that human smiles didn't always mean what you thought they did. "What kind of challenge did you have in mind?" Patel asked pleasantly, sipping from a steaming cup of coffee, her third of the morning. "Trial by combat," Raykar declared. "Your strongest warrior against me. Traditional juggernaut rules. No weapons, no armor, pure physical contest." The alien delegation held their breath, expecting the humans to decline such an obviously suicidal proposal. Instead, Patel checked her phone. "Sounds fun. When were you thinking? We've got a couple of Marines who just finished their morning PT and are probably looking for something to do. Or did you want to make it more interesting?" Raykar's secondary arms twitched in confusion. "More interesting? Well, if we're testing physical capabilities, why not make it an actual competition? Maybe a triathlon, or an obstacle course. We could live stream it, make it a proper event. The internet would love it." Commander Raxon fought the urge to bang his head against the nearest wall. Of course, the humans would treat a life or death challenge as an opportunity for entertainment. "You dare to mock the sacred combat traditions of the Juggernaut Collective?" Raykar's voice boomed through the chamber. "Not at all," Patel replied cheerfully. "I'm just suggesting we have fun with it. Tell you what, let's make it a 3-part challenge. You pick one event, we pick one, and the third is mutual agreement. That way everyone gets to showcase their strengths." The chamber erupted in murmurs. This was unprecedented. Raykar's combat challenges were legendary across 7 star systems. No one had ever suggested turning one into a sporting event. "Very well," Raykar snarled. "First challenge, weightlifting competition. Pure strength." "Cool," Patel tapped something into her phone. "We pick endurance running for the second event. Marathon distance okay with everyone?" Raxon watched Raykar's expression shift from confidence to confusion. "You expect me to run 26.2 miles? Oh, don't worry, we'll set up water stations. Now for the third event. Any thoughts? Rock climbing could be fun. Or maybe swimming." "This is not a game." Raykar slammed his fist into the ground, leaving a sizable dent in the reinforced flooring. "Everything's a game if you have the right attitude," Patel grinned. "But if you're looking for something more traditional, we could do wrestling. Good old-fashioned grappling, no holds barred." Lieutenant Rodriguez, the human military advisor, finally looked up from her own phone. "Ma'am, Dave from the SEAL team just volunteered. Says he's bored anyway since the weather's too nice for their usual training." "Perfect," Patel clapped her hands. "When do we start, Champion Raykar? Dave's got a charity mountain climb this weekend, but he's free all week otherwise." The massive alien warrior stood frozen, his challenge having spiraled completely out of his control. The humans were treating his sacred combat ritual like a pickup game at the gym. "Tomorrow," he managed to growl, "at first light." "Wonderful," Patel beamed. "We'll bring snacks. Anyone have dietary restrictions? We're thinking of making it a proper event. Maybe set up some bleachers, get a food truck or two." Commander Raxon watched in fascination as the mighty champion Raykar, terror of the Outer Rim, was reduced to confused silence by human enthusiasm. The champion had expected fear, defiance, or desperate negotiation. Instead, he got event planning and catering arrangements. "The sacred challenge cannot be turned into a public spectacle," Raykar protested weakly. "Too late," Rodriguez showed her phone screen. "It's already trending on social media. # Throwdown is getting a lot of buzz. The livestream channel has 500,000 subscribers already." As the chamber dissolved into chaos, with various species arguing about broadcast rights and whether betting would be allowed, Commander Raxon approached Ambassador Patel. "You planned this," he accused quietly. "Not exactly," she smiled, "but we figured someone would eventually try to prove their superiority through combat. Humans have been doing that dance for millennia. We just learned to make it more entertaining. And this Dave person, he can actually compete with Champion Raykar? Oh, probably, but more importantly, he's going to have fun doing it. That's what really drives Raykar nuts, you know. Not that we can match him physically, but that we'll enjoy the challenge." As Raxon watched Raykar stomp out of the chamber, already being followed by floating camera drones, he realized humanity had won before the competition even started. They'd taken a deadly serious challenge and transformed it into tomorrow's viral entertainment. "May the cosmic forces have mercy on us all," he muttered. "Don't worry," Patel patted his armored shoulder. "We're ordering extra snacks, though you might want to skip the jalapeno poppers. We're making them competition-level spicy." The competition site buzzed with activity as thousands of spectators gathered. Food trucks lined the perimeter, selling everything from tacos to Thai food. Champion Raykar stood in his designated area, watching in disbelief as humans treated his sacred challenge like a festival. Dave Martinez, the human champion, was doing light stretches while chatting with fans and signing autographs. He looked ridiculously small next to Raykar's massive frame. The weightlifting competition started exactly as everyone expected. Raykar easily pressed weights that would crush most spacecraft. The crowd cheered appreciatively, treating his display of legendary strength like a decent opening act. Then Dave stepped up. While he couldn't match Raykar's raw power, his technique and endurance proved remarkable. He kept lifting well past the point of exhaustion, pushing through barriers that should have been physically impossible. But it was the marathon that changed everything. 3 hours in, Raykar collapsed, his mighty body giving out under the relentless Earth gravity and distance. Dave jogged back to check on him, offered him water, then continued running. He finished the race, turned around and ran back to make sure his competitor was okay. "Good effort, big guy." Dave patted Raykar's armor. "Want to grab a protein shake before the wrestling?" The wrestling match never happened. Raykar, his pride and understanding of the universe thoroughly shattered, formally withdrew from the challenge. But the true revelation came during his concession speech. "We thought we were the galaxy's ultimate survivors," Raykar announced to the crowd. "We were wrong. Humans don't just survive, they thrive on adversity. They embrace it, transform it into entertainment, make it fun." Commander Raxon watched from the observation deck as humans helped Raykar to the medical tent, chattering excitedly about organizing intergalactic sports leagues and cultural exchange programs. "They're going to change everything, aren't they?" Nash asked quietly. "They already have," Raxon replied. "The galaxy's strongest species aren't those who merely survive deadly conditions. They're the ones who look at those conditions and say, 'Hey, we could make a game out of this.'" The event concluded with an impromptu barbecue. Humans and aliens mingled, sharing stories and food. Even Raykar found himself enjoying something called a chili dog, though his environmental suit's sensors strongly advised against it. As the sun set on this new era of galactic relations, Commander Raxon made one final log entry. "We thought we were the Death Worlders. Turns out we were just playing in the shallow end of the pool. Humanity doesn't just survive the impossible, they turn it into a spectator sport. The galaxy will never be the same." And maybe that's exactly what we needed. One standard galactic year after first contact, Commander Raxon sat in his favorite observation lounge aboard the Galactic Council station, watching humans revolutionize everything they touched. His personal log had become less of a formal record and more of a bewildered commentary on humanity's impact on galactic society. Personal log, final entry. The humans have done it again. They've turned the toxic storms of Nexus Prime into what they call extreme surfing opportunities. The Nexari are simultaneously terrified and thrilled. Tourist revenue has increased 300% this quarter alone. He took a sip from his drink, some human concoction called hot chocolate, that his environmental suit had finally approved after extensive modifications, and continued recording. The Juggernaut Collective's Sacred Combat Trials that the Council had to establish special safety protocols for interspecies playground activities. Who knew tag could be so dangerous in 3 dimensions? Raxon adjusted his seat as the station's artificial gravity fluctuated slightly. The humans had suggested dynamic gravity zones to make exercise more challenging, because apparently regular exercise wasn't difficult enough. The humans have also revolutionized our food culture. They introduced something called fusion cuisine to the galactic community. Last week I witnessed a Juggernaut chef crying tears of joy over something called ghost pepper ice cream. The medical bay has never been busier. A notification popped up on his screen. Another human expedition requesting clearance to explore the radioactive crystal deserts of Vexithor Prime. For fun, because of course they would. The military implications have been even more dramatic. Human special forces training programs are now considered the galaxy's ultimate challenge. Even the proudest Nexari hunters struggle to complete what humans call basic training. The humans just keep encouraging everyone, calling it character building. He watched as a mixed group of species attempted human yoga in the station's recreation center. The instructor, a serene human named Sarah, was patiently explaining that no, achieving inner peace shouldn't be quite this stressful. Their influence on technology has been profound. Human engineers took one look at our safe, reliable fusion reactors and asked why they couldn't be more efficient. 3 months later, power output was up 200%. When asked how they did it, their chief engineer just shrugged and said, "We tried stuff until it worked better." Through another window, he could see the station's newest addition, a human-designed emergency response training facility. The Death Worlder Council had needed 3 separate meetings just to process the insurance requirements. The humans have even changed how we approach colonization. They call their method terraforming light. Instead of waiting centuries for perfect conditions, they just start building and adapt as they go. Their argument is, and I quote, "If we wait for ideal conditions, we'll never get anything done." A maintenance alert caught his attention. Humans had modified the station's waste recycling system again, making it 40% more efficient through what they called creative engineering. The safety board was still trying to understand how they'd done it. Perhaps most surprisingly, they've become the galaxy's foremost diplomats.